What is up, winning team? Hi, guys. I wanted to come and show you something very special because I'm so excited about something that I bought. Now, before I show you guys, I just want to say you need to watch my most recent videos. I cannot believe Jezebel came to speak to me. I'm so excited, you guys. My competitive spirit is back, and I finally have the opportunity to go against an opponent, not have to worry about their feelings, and totally crush them. So, anywho, I bought a gift for me. Well, I bought a gift for my brothers and myself, and I wanted to show you guys because this is going to be iconic. And don't worry, they're not going to see this because I've told both of them not to watch my videos. They've got their own things to worry about. They've got their own lives to figure out, right? So let me show you. And when I tell you why, guys, it's going to just add to this whole story that I'm telling. I got each of us one piece graphic tee. One piece graphic tee. I've got three of them. Two, three. And when I saw them, I knew, I was like, it doesn't matter how much they cost. It doesn't matter anything. I have to take these. And there was only three left. So, but the key thing here is that if not for my brothers, I would have never watched One Piece. If I never watched One Piece, I would never have seen Luffy. And Luffy, for me, is a character that has, as I told you guys, when I got the first call to go to Italy, I was watching One Piece in bed, I remember, and I was feeling really low. I was actually watching One Piece to distract myself when my friend then voice noted me. But throughout watching One Piece and seeing Luffy, a young guy who's the captain of this ship, right? And he's going through and he's picking people up along the way. And his whole thing is he wants to become the king of the pirates. And everybody on his ship, he just wants them to reach their dreams, right? So everybody on the ship has a different dream. Everybody on the ship has a different reason to be there. But as they are pursuing this dream, because he believes in freedom, his whole thing is freedom. He wants to see freedom for everybody to be free to make their own choices in life. And I'm like that as well. I'm not somebody who thinks we should shove anything down anybody's throat. I think that if everybody has the right to live how they want to live. The only thing, and this is where I differ obviously to him, is we got to make sure that we're aware of the consequences of our actions. And so throughout the whole show, just watching him and like seeing everybody underestimating him constantly, looking at him like, oh, this silly kid. He's telling everyone, I'm going to be the king of the pirates. I'm going to be the king of the pirates. I'm going to be the king of the pirates. And everyone's just looking at him like, you know what I mean? But his whole team, all of them, they all saw something in him. And that's like how I feel like you guys are with me. And every single story arc, they take on like a bigger group of people that they shouldn't be able to take on, right? And going in, there'll be like 9 of them facing like the whole army, the whole of the Marines, the whole of even an island's army or whatever against them. And somehow they'll prevail and leave laughing. And that's what's kind of funny because his who he's supposed to become, he's like the prophecy of called Joy Boy, and he's just there fighting and just laughing. And it's just funny to think about it now because all I've been doing is laughing. And I just relate to him so much where his drive for doing things isn't because of status or power. He doesn't care. If you see him fighting, he's in shorts and he wears a shirt that's unbuttoned and sandals and he has a straw hat, right? He does not care. He doesn't care to be like acknowledged half the time when they're looking at his new bounty. He doesn't even care. He doesn't care about the bounty. He doesn't care whatever. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. He is there to become the king of the pirates, bring freedom for everybody, and fight for the people that he cares about. And I just love that about him. Now, the funny story about this and why I wanted to tell you guys, also, literally, sister of the year, I'm going to make these guys we're going to do a photo shoot. They don't know it yet, but we're going to have to do some photos together, all of us in our tees matching. sibling gang. This is going to be so cool, iconic. This is going to be actually iconic. Um, but the reason why I'm bringing this up, particularly with this current series that I'm doing, is because when it was time to watch One Piece, right, or before I started watching it, a show that literally changed my life, literally, whenever I need to remind myself that, like, even if, like, you only have no one, or obviously now you guys, but when I before, like, if you have no one that believes in you, like, just keep going and just stay the course, like, stay on track, because that's the thing about Luffy as well, like, he fights, and he fights to the bitter end. The reason why One Piece is so long, I've said this before, is because their fights go on for so long, and I feel like it's good because it actually gives you an idea of what it's actually like to be in a war, like an actual war. Because a lot of times in shows there'll be a fight scene, it'll go on for like 20 minutes or like 20 seconds or 2 good minutes or 5 good minutes, 10 good minutes, and it's over with. In One Piece it's like 40 episodes, and like in the first ones, they're just getting rid of the small fries, right? This is what I realized. Why am I giving my opinion? Why am I caring about what the small fries of the world, the small fries of the winning team have to say when I'm in the big leagues? I am so gassed in the rave that Jezebel thought I was worth visiting, because she's insane and she doesn't care about anyone. Like, that's the point. She doesn't care about anyone. She cares about chaos, and that's it. She's just in it for the heck of it. So she's not like, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, so and she doesn't care about me either. She's just like, she's doing this for herself. That's what's hilarious. And I'm doing this for everybody else. This is not crazy. I'm putting myself anyway. So so I love how they do it. And when it gets to Luffy's fighting scenes, I always cry every single time because they go on for like 40 episodes, and it's like by episode 10 I'm thinking he's already nearly dead. Then there's like another 15, I'm thinking he's already nearly dead. 20, I'm thinking he's got to be at death's door. 25, he's like kind of passes out, and I'm thinking, oh no, what if he's died and my body's hurting? But then he calls himself out. Well, he's got all these wounds all over him and everything. And then one day I remember he said something so deep, and like, this is something that I don't see in the leaders of today in the body of Christ. He said something so deep that it cut me to the very core. He was like, how can I call myself the captain of my own ship if I can't protect the whole team? And I was like, Luffy. And I bawled my eyes out. So if not for One Piece really made me see a different version of what it means to actually like lead people and care about them and actually do your job and do it properly, and not have to like walk around with, like I said, he's humble. The people he comes up against have so much pride. He doesn't care. He doesn't care what people think about him. He doesn't care if he gets acknowledgement. He doesn't care. He's there to hang out with his friends, have a good time. Because like between the fights, all he's doing is acting silly. That's what bothers the adults. He's just acting silly. So they're like, what's this kid gonna do? Look at him, he's just faffing around, he's just being stupid, until he's stepping on their neck 100 episodes later. And it's like, where was all that pride? All their ships are sinking and everything. And then Luffy and his friends are off, gallivanting on the ship, having a party. They're having a party after the defeat. They're having a banquet and everything. There's music because he knew that it was important to have a member that could make music so there could be a vibe on the ship. There's music, there's food, there's everything. And they're just vibing and they're just going through the seas on their ship. It's not even a big ship, it's a small ship in comparison to these other ships, but it's a well prepared ship, right? And they're just sailing away into the seas, not worried about anything, knowing that they are all going to work together and give everything, and that it's worth giving everything and pursuing their dreams together as a team and working as a team. And because they work so well as a team, I'm going to probably watch One Piece after this, honestly, because I need to catch up, because the boys are caught up now. I was the one who went all the way, well, my youngest brother, and this is why this is important. If not for my brothers, like with stuff like this, I would never have known. Like, this is why I'm saying I'm singing, long live the patriarchy, because my youngest brother, right? I remember when I first was going, before I watched One Piece, he would like hound me. Have you started watching One Piece? 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 I'm like, I'm gonna get to it at some point. He's like, have you started watching One Piece? And this went on for months, if not over a year. He's asking me, can you start watching One Piece? So eventually one day I was like, you know what? Fine, I'll watch it. I'll watch it. You know what I mean? Damn, because I felt bad. I started to feel bad because I didn't want to disappoint him. Because for some reason he was just so adamant that he felt like I should watch One Piece, right? So he's like, "Are you gonna watch One Piece? If you're gonna watch One Piece, if you're gonna watch One Piece," and so I did. I started watching it, and then I was locked in, and I was like, "Oh," and I apologized. I was like, "I'm sorry." I didn't listen sooner. I did apologize to him because I was like, this is so good. And my other brother had watched One Piece when he was younger, like at school, like a lot of, because I remember the boys at school, they were all watching anime, and I never got it. And I have other things to say about that on another day, but they were all used to watch anime because every time we'd be talking, they were like, "What are you doing watching anime?" And I'm like, this is why I'm wondering how everybody else was watching this and it didn't then translate into any change. How you can still then not be inspired. Like something about the adult population. You watch all these movies, all your Quentin Tarantinos and all these, and you just leave and what? Oh, because it's make believe, because school told you these are myths and fables and these are just stories. So that's your excuse to not step up to the plate, right? Anyway, so yeah, and the reason why this is so, what was I going to say? I was going to say something. My other brother was similar, like growing up. My gosh, every show he'd be telling me all the details, all the details, all the details, all the details, all the details. Avatar, Marvel movies, Seven Deadly Sins. He's the one who was like on and on and on and on and on about Seven Deadly Sins. And the thing is, this is what I'm saying about the life hacks, because I actually listened to them and actually would sit and listen to them. Then eventually, I would learn a lot of things. And then watching these shows, these two animes, out after my favorite anime, which we'll talk about on another day. My favorite show, well, not my favorite anime, my favorite program of all time, which actually isn't One Piece, if you can imagine. Um, what was I saying? Why am I so distracted? Yeah, if not for these animes, I really wouldn't be the woman I am today. Like legit, and it all was just because of my brothers. And this is why, like I say, that long live the patriarchy, because like if not for them, we all wouldn't be here. We all wouldn't be here without these guys doing what they were doing, and without them pushing and me actually listening and me actually giving it a chance. And this is where I get to tell you guys, because this is another irony of everything happening. So the reason why I was partially interested in watching One Piece in the first place is because once upon a time I found my brothers playing this game on Nintendo Switch. It's called Jump Force, right? And basically all the like anime peoples came together. That well, Toei Animation basically, who's like what do you call it, the production company for all these anime. Um, they made this game where they mixed all these different anime characters, and I also have to shout out to my ex, who's actually the reason I started watching anime, because he was like, we need, like, you need to watch these, and we started with a Kamega Kill, which is so good, and then from there I've just been an anime girly. So again, more thanks to the patriarchy. Um, but anyway, and so this game Jump Force, right? This is when I realized what I was telling you guys about, why you all this stuff I'm saying, because I played it with my brothers. And when we used to, it's like a combat game. It's kind of similar to like Dragon Ball Xenoverse or like Mortal Kombat kind of style, but it's one of those where in each game, each person gets to pick three characters each, and you can interchange between those characters throughout the game. Each character has all the the usuals, their like quick moves, their super moves, and all of that. But we all could pick three characters from all anime. So I started, they were playing it, and I started to play. This was years ago. This is years ago now. And I started to play with it because that was one of the things I used to do. I realized that, like, if you want to, honestly, sometimes if you want to get the attention of, like, say, like my brothers, I was like, I should just go where they are and just hang out with them. You know what I mean? So that's what I used to do. I just go and sit there. Sometimes I'll spectate. I'll be like when they're playing games, like, oh no, and like, whatever. Sometimes I'll just be sitting there and just enjoying the vibe. And then I would actually also play, because they'd often be like, do you want to play? Because they would always actually want to play. And I'm like, cool. I'm surprised. I'd be surprised, but they would want to play. So I'm like, cool, let's play. Anyway, So in this game, this is where I discovered Luffy for the first time. This was before, long years before One Piece, right? And I remember like Luffy became my favorite character to play with. I play with Luffy, I play with Naruto, and I can't remember who the other one is. Now, the bit that's the best about all of this, and it kind of goes back to everything that I'm saying to you guys, is that playing games with my brother and just also guys in general, at first with my brothers, they always roast me, right? And this is again where I'm saying, like, being really, can you see what I'm saying? Can you see this? I'm in another country. Um, uh, we used to, yeah, I at the beginning they roast me, right? And they're pretty bad. They're like, "Oh, do you want us to put the level down? Should we go on to easy mode? Should we go on to this?" You know, like as if like, "Oh, it seems like you're finding it hard." Because I always say to everyone, and again, it's annoying when people don't do this, but my brothers do because they know me by now. I always say, don't hold back. Like, just play as hard as you can, like as good as you can, because that's the quickest way I'm going to learn. I don't like to take little baby steps. That's what I'm saying. I don't like to take little baby steps. Throw me straight in the deep end, because that's what the Lord does with me anyway. So throw me straight in the deep end, and I'll figure it out. And then I ask loads of questions. What button is this? What button is this? So they're like teaching me, and and I'm listening to what I'm listening carefully to all the things they're saying, which is what makes what I'm about to say hilarious. It always gets to the point where it all clicks for me, and then I start to beat them. So what we do is we usually play winner stays on, right? Or king as you call it. Winner stays on. So goes as it goes, it's as it goes. It's three of us. We play two player. Whoever wins stays and stays on. It got to the point one time in this game, this is before long before I watched One Piece, but I had obviously watched Naruto and whatever. I was beating these two 6 days straight, 6 days straight. Every evening we would go to play this game, right? And for 6 days, I remained king. And they couldn't believe it. And do you know how it would happen? And this goes back to everything I'm saying to you guys. It's me knowing the people so well and how people are. So, and particularly also men. So the reason why I would win, and they don't know this, and again, they're not going to see this video because I told them not to watch my videos, but that's more because I don't want them to be stressing about things they've got enough to stress about on their own. They would basically, when we would get to like the last 20 seconds, I told you guys this is always my strategy, which is why it's funny how it's playing out now, right? That I always show how smart I actually was and how much I was paying attention, how prepared I was, right at the moment when the enemy or the opponent is in full pride. L. Um, so I would wait until the last second, right? I'll be playing and I'll be just making sure that I'm getting through. And then it would always get to the point where whoever has the last blow is going to win. It would always end up like that. Whoever has the last blow is going to win. So then either of them would put out their last blow, right? When there's like maybe 5 seconds left, yeah. And then while it's doing the whole charging up thing, you know how they do, where it's like, and then they do all the dramatics and then they say all the big statements. And then at this point, the brotherhood becomes the brotherhood again. They're all jumping, they're all fist bumping, screaming, yeah, like that they won because they're excited. Meanwhile, I'm still focused on the game, and I'm putting in my super attack until the very, 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 like past the last second. So what would happen is in the midst of them doing all of that, yay, and all of this, all of a sudden, their fight would get cut because I would wait for like I would just keep going, waiting for the perfect like second where there would be a window of opportunity, and then my super move would take over, and then it would be the look of shock on their faces, and then them like having to like, how did she do it, how did she do it, how did she do it? We were sure like there was like 3 seconds left and I'm doing whatever, and I would keep going until like past the last second. I'll be still putting in different moves like to make sure it was going to happen, and then I would beat them at the last second. And this happened for 6 days, and they don't know to this day how I was doing it. And that's exactly how. They just too quickly got excited. And that in that game, the finishing move I was using was Gear 4 from Luffy. Gear 4, but I didn't know who Luffy was. I didn't even know what Gear 4 was. So part of the reason I ended up watching most of One Piece, took about 600 episodes. I was like, I want to see how we build up to this power, and I want to see what this power actually is, because I loved using it. And yeah, and that's how and then it was like after that that my brother was always like, you need to watch One Piece, you need to watch One Piece, you need to watch One Piece. And lo and behold, now I can't put that as the thumbnail because one of them will see it because they're both subscribed, because again, very supportive. And my youngest brother was he was my 100th subscriber, which was so cute. Just what I'm saying, I really can't hate the men. Like, there's just no way. I would have to be delusional. I would really have to be delusional to hop on that bandwagon. But I just thought I would tell you guys this story because I am so excited to see the look on their faces when they see our matching teas, and then to force them, as we do, to do a photo shoot. I don't know what the poses will be, but we'll make it something cool. And also, like, I'm just so grateful to them because it had not been for that, I don't know. And again, all these memories with them are just so much fun. Like, this is why we're like all close and things, because as much as we argue, and all of that, we also like have so much fun, like just doing these silly things and being beaten by their sister 6 days in a row. And again, this is why I say that the men were never going to be the enemy or the opponent, I guess, which I didn't realize. That was the thing that Jezebel had to help me to had to solidify in my brain, that I hadn't realized fully, right? And that's the thing, that is the deception that the other women have now, is thinking that taking down the patriarchy, like that the men are the problem, because the truth is they're not the problem. Right now, Jezebel's my problem, and right now I'm her problem. Genesis 3. Anyways, guys, listen, as much as I'm joking around, this is a very serious time, because even after I told you guys about the first encounter I had seeing one of these demons, I saw another one like a couple hours later, and I was going to do my usual antics with demons, like, oh, we'll just get rid of you, this is going to be easy. And literally the demon said to me, and it was a different looking demon, you don't even know what you've gotten yourself into. The demons are never this confident. I feel like I've graduated up to principalities. You know how the Bible says you wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities? I think I've upgraded. Anyway, so yeah, if life's the game, let's play to win. Look, your girl's working. Your girl's got her Bible open right now. I'm reading through Exodus in the wilderness to try and see, like, what is it we need to take away and all of that. So I'm doing the work. Look, she's already taken out her first blow at me, and it's so much fun now. This is what I'm saying. It's like in One Piece, where it's dangerous. They throw themselves head first into the danger. They fight for their lives. They fight till near death, but then they make it. And then the next thing, they're having a good time, sailing the seas with no care in the world, because they've got their team and they've got each other, and they know they're going to fight, not for the sake of fighting, not for the sake of wanting to look good or whatever, but because of the love they have for each other, and because Luffy wants to see everybody have freedom. If life's a game, let's play to win. God bless you all. God loves you. I love you. And see you in my next one. Goodbye. And if you guys don't believe that I love you by now, this is what I mean when I say the standard of love in the world is in the bin. Because all you women out there, all you loving this, loving that, where are you guys doing all this? Exactly.